Good afternoon, Rockwood South staff. Welcome to the end of the first quarter and another Friday, which means it's time for another blast. All right, I want to thank everyone again for participating in our learning walks this week. This was such a great experience for all of us to be in those host classrooms together to see amazing student centered learning practices and assessment capable learning practices. I don't know about you, but I learned a ton as I was in all of your classrooms. The discussions that we were able to have about those strategies in our processing session after school was just really in depth and rich. So I'm glad we were able to do that. Thanks again to those host teachers for being willing and vulnerable and opening up your classroom to staff, not only here at Rockwood South, but we had a lot of district staff members who participated with our learning as well. So thank you so much. And truly, we do make a difference when we are in one another's classes, learning from one another, and then implementing in our own classrooms. Thank you for participating. I look forward to the next one. All right, let's jump into some of that learning. I'm going to kick things off here with, there we go. That's the slide I want. I'm going to kick things off with Miss Mueller's class. Miss Mueller did a great job of implementing both student-centered learning practices and assessment-capable learning in her classroom this week. Some of you guys that were able to go to her class for learning walks were able to see this in action, but you could see on the photo there that both kids have a scoring guide. You can see that they were able to determine where, or basically score a sample piece of writing for each area of criteria. And then once they scored it, Miss Mueller did a great job of structuring the discussion so that after they scored it, they worked with a partner to discuss each criterion and what they would do to improve the given piece of writing to move that to the next level of criteria. It was just exceptionally done. And I know that she used a lot of random selection to put students in groups for each criterion. She also used random selection to call on students to share out with the class after they have talked in groups. Such a key practice that students are, individually scoring, then they discuss, then she shares out, calling on them randomly to have them talk out about those selections with the whole class. Just a great job. Now let's look at some more assessment capable learning strategies. This happened in Mr. Baker's class. Both he and Miss Harper used assessment capable learning to have students receive feedback on their projects. In Mr. Baker's class, his students each had specific roles within a team. And it was really cool to hear the students discuss, like they knew what their role was and they were speaking from that role and the criteria to provide feedback to one another on their projects. The students then shared with me that they were able to take that feedback from their group mates and immediately revise and improve their projects before turning them in. Excellent job, and love those specific roles, Mr. Baker. That added so much individual accountability to this assessment capable learning activity. Now I would like to move into some cooperative learning strategies in Miss Brinkley's classroom. She had chat stations taking place. I came in twice to her class on that particular day with our learning walks. And during one of her morning classes, when I came in, they happened to be doing quiz trade. And then later on in the day, I came in and they were doing chat stations where students were going around the room answering given questions and then had an opportunity to discuss how they solved this specific question and why. I also saw chat stations happening in Abby Miller's Spanish class, and they used them in a very similar fashion. Next, I want to go to Miss Mothersbaugh's science class. where she had students categorizing information as a team. And she did this in station work. She had a number of different stations set up in her classroom. And this happened to be one particular station where students had to categorize individually, and then they worked together to ensure that they were unified in their categorization. I saw a similar activity with station work and pictures occur in Miss Laura Frisch's class. So we're seeing some great opportunities and structures for students to be engaged with one another in critical thinking and with the discussion around the learning. Remember, we want our kids talking to one another about what they are learning. And then those rich opportunities for you to randomly select and have students share out about that learning with the class, that is so important. All right. Last but not least, I happened to be in Tina Dedek's class last week and a little bit this week where she was implementing an assessment capable learning activity. And I want you to hear about this activity from her. Hands down amazing. It is absolutely worth a listen. Here we go. Welcome, welcome, Tina.
Hello.
I'm so glad that you came in. And I know that this is not your most favorite thing to do, but you had such an amazing lesson. So I know others will benefit from hearing your take on chat stations with a twist, is what I keep calling it.
That's pretty much what I would a little modified chat station.
Yes. So tell me about like the purpose, the idea behind it, and what actually happened.
The purpose was we were hoping to have students take a look at the essays and the scoring guide and be able to improve their essays.
Yeah.
Our original DBQ was meant to just kind of get data to make sure everybody was at proficient. So they've already turned in their essays, but we wanted them to realize what the difference would be if we were grading it as an advanced.
Gotcha.
So when they came in, the essays were posted, but they hadn't really gone over them yet.
Okay.
So we had 3 different examples of different levels that I posted around the room. I actually made 6 different stations.
Okay.
Just so that I could split the classes up so there wouldn't be too big of groups.
That's smart.
First thing we did was everybody got a dry erase marker, and I explained, I want you to go around, read through each of these essays, and just based on what you're reading, do you think they're advanced, proficient, basic, or below basic?
So they made a prediction.
Correct.
Awesome.
So they're predicting what they think they were. So we gave them a few minutes to go through and put their check marks on there. Then we're back to our seats, and I hand out the actual scoring guide with the advanced on it. And we just kind of go over, so what does it look like to go from proficient to advanced? What are we looking at? Then I give them their chance. I number them off so that they're at the different stations. So that usually about 2 to 3 people at each station. What I'm asking them to do is read through the essay, score it yourself, talk about it with your group. Do you guys come to a consensus on what you think that essay should be scored at? And from that, we had a conversation once the scores were up, especially if we had 2 sets for everything. If one group scored it differently than the other, we kind of discussed, well, why do you think that was at that level? Why did you guys go with this? What was your evidence to prove that? We also, as I went through, to make it easier for the students with different groups, I started to notice we needed to focus on 1 or 2 aspects of that scoring guide. So by the second day, we were focusing just on evidence and reasoning. So just look at the evidence, just look at the reasoning, which brought up a whole nother conversation of, okay, you could be advanced on one and be basic on another.
Yes.
So your overall score is going to look different. So they actually scored them separately so that they could see the difference between those 2.
Excellent.
So once we were done, we discussed, okay, now we need to look at your essay. When you're going to make your revisions, you want to try to push it to the advanced portion. That's what we're looking for. You've seen examples. The first day I did it, we didn't actually have them open it up.
Mm-hmm.
By the second day, and kind of learn as you go, and
Yeah,
improve things.
Of course.
I have them open up the essay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the comments that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
Do those comments make sense with the scoring guide of what you're supposed to be doing? How could you take that comment and bring it up, and had them work on doing some of those revisions?
That's awesome. So you had, after doing that activity, you had them look at the feedback they were given,
Mm-hmm.
had them look at that alongside the rubric. And so now that they've done this activity, does that feedback really make sense to you? Do you understand why? And then they revised their
Mm-hmm.
essay. I got a high five.
Yeah.
Tina, that's fantastic. That's really fantastic. I mean, it's such a great example of assessment capable learning. I mean, it really is start to finish. And had you ever had kids revise their essays in that way before?
No.
Never.
I mean, we've gone over the scoring guide again,
Yeah.
but not as much as going back through.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen one example, because I already had one example created from previous years that we went through what one example of the advanced would be.
Mm-hmm.
But having them look at the different ones as to why it may not live up to the advanced, I think was helpful to them.
Yeah. Wow. What made you decide to try this new strategy this year?
Well, we had been talking about, we wanted them to look at different examples.
Right.
But I was trying to figure out what would work best for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want too many people hovering over one essay,
Mm-hmm.
but still being able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
By posting it on the walls, it made it better.
Yeah.
Now, if I had the chance, I probably would have made them much bigger, like more of a poster size.
Got it. Okay.
Because I think that would have been easier to highlight or underline, because that's what some of them were doing, is highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
We put an E for evidence and an R for reasoning, or use two different markers.
Okay.
And that was just really hard on a small piece of paper.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really appreciate the way in which you've shared like the adjustments you made, like what you were learning as you engaged in this
Mm-hmm.
process, the adjustments you made throughout the process. I also really appreciate the fact that you said to me, like, hey, I'm trying this. If you want to come in and see it, like, I'm going to give it a shot. And it just got better and better. So I could hear the depth of discussion the kids were having in your room. It was really cool to watch.
They did a very good job.
Any advice for somebody who has never tried something like this and is thinking about it?
One is go ahead and try it.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens. You're going to find out you can make adjustments the next time you go
Mm-hmm.
through it.
Yeah.
Or always take note of, okay, what didn't work well? Is there something else that would fit in there? And then you try the other thing. And
Mm-hmm.
if it works better, go with that. Or you can always go back to the other one. But just at least give it a try.
I couldn't agree more. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you for being on The Blast today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
This was such a great learning experience. Please reach out to Tina if you have questions about how she implemented this, what the results were. I mean, she was really honest and transparent about her process and how she adjusted things along the way, and the fact that this was the first time that she had used chat stations in this manner alongside of an assessment capable learning strategy with the scoring guide. This is a shot of that occurring in her classroom. Again, please do reach out to Tina. All right, team, last but not least, don't forget to shut down your conference links early Tuesday morning. That is important. That way you'll know the list of which parents will be coming to you for conferences next week, and you can have everything prepared and ready to go. Also remember that to have all grades updated in the system by next Friday the 24th, as well as your A and Bs. You guys have been doing an excellent job with having kids reflect on those A and Bs and set goals for the next quarter using those A and B guides. Thank you for that. With that, guys, you deserve to have an amazing weekend. I hope you relax and can enjoy some of the cooler temperatures we're going to have. We look forward to starting our second quarter with you on Monday. Take care.